So it's been pretty slow in regards to animation news. I mean, most movies that have come out, all the Minecraft movie hype is dead, and Stitch is about to take over every theater next week with all the chaos that happens with that. But summer is pretty decently packed, I won't lie. There's a lot coming out, and this week we got two new trailers. One being good and one being really, really bad. And the trailers I'm talking about is The Bad Guys 2 and the Smurfs movie. And yeah, these two movies are night and day in terms of the level of hype people have for this movie, and also just interest at all. First up was a brand new look at the Smurfs movie, and oh my goodness, it just gets worse and worse. One thing that this movie has, the only thing it has going for it, and it's not even a good thing, is flexing that Rihanna is Smurfette, and she's not even giving a good performance as Smurfette. She just doesn't, that's not a Smurfette voice just to me. It doesn't really sound like she's really trying here. And it almost is like this movie is just there to promote her newer music. And it just feels like they're going for this Trolls aesthetic, and it really falls flat. Then you have the people that say Smurfs came first before Trolls. Yes, but Smurfs was never like this. And when it comes to the animation, sure, it looks fine. That's the only thing I can't really bash that much. But all the jokes and comedy here suck. Like, really bad. Anything that came out of these Smurfs' mouth made me want to rip my hairs out of my head. It was really, really bad. Like, you got Papa Smurf saying,
"Now that's what I call a banger."
oh, like, oh my goodness, it's so bad. Even that scene, it's like so lazily interpreted. Like, you can tell that was just a phoned in line. Like, the lip sync doesn't even work there. It's just so bad. It feels like this was a draft from a Smurfs movie from like the early 2010s. Which Smurfs movies came out in the early 2010s? And this was one of the leftover scripts that just never got to see the light of day. And they just said, hey, well, Paramount, let's just throw this out there. You know, we'll have another Smurfs movie. Everyone will show up for this. And I guess the other only thing is they got rid of Influencer Smurf. I guess that's something to say. I know he's still in the movie, but they got rid of him from the trailer. He avoided the allegations. But this movie just seems really soulless. It's just not fun, and not, like, none of the jokes land at all. It's one of those cringeworthy movies that when I know it comes out, people are going to tear this movie apart. It's just, ugh. And they want to start a new franchise with this too. I think that's the worst part about this Smurfs movie. I don't think I need a trilogy of Smurfs movies with Rihanna as Smurfette. Just please don't. But thankfully, our eyes were bleached from that, and we got a new Bad Guys 2 trailer. Now, initially, people were excited for this movie, but also hesitant about the whole sequel thing coming from Bad Guys. Now, obviously, the Bad Guys have their fair share of books, so there's plenty of source material to pull from. And I certainly wasn't disappointed from this trailer. This movie looks like a lot of fun, and the same amount of fun that the first movie gives. You can tell that the movie is still going to be action-packed. All the characters are returning, including Diane with all the new stuff she has. I'm sure the internet's reacting to that perfectly. They're not. It's so much worse than you think. The movie just looks fun. The animation still carries over great from the first movie. The whole thing with DreamWorks and the in-house companies coming in and out, it's just very wonky. But this movie, thankfully, when it carried over, you rarely see any changes. It just looks upscaled and better at this point. It's focusing more on these bad girls wanting the bad guys to go on this giant heist at space. This is the movie where they go to space, and it just looks like a joyride from start to finish. I think what's gonna happen is this movie will probably end up being successful, and we will get a Bad Guys 3, and that'll finish out a trilogy. And honestly, I think this is the rare few instances where a DreamWorks book adaptation gets a sequel and possibly a trilogy. I wish I could say that about a few other movies, you know, not naming any names, but it's still cool to see that, you know, this will be the last DreamWorks movie that will be acknowledged this year. There's nothing coming out in September from DreamWorks. Not a single movie. You see that silence in the room? It's because we already know what's coming out in that month, and it's Gabby's Dollhouse the movie. Yay! No, this movie is just purely being skipped. You know it's bad when the animation community does not talk about this movie, and they talk about everything DreamWorks does, from their TV shows to movies. Once this trailer came out, it's not even worth talking about or giving a review. This is something I've come to agree on after watching it. I'm just not gonna be talking about that movie. There's nothing really for me to critique on. It's really made for very small children. This is DreamWorks' Paw Patrol at this point. Even then, it's even more childish than that. Because, you know, obviously, from the words of Asame, Paw Patrol is a cinematic masterpiece. But this movie, it's gonna be a skip for me. You probably won't expect a review from this, and I probably won't be watching it. It just seems like a waste of time. And what's even worse is, this is a DreamWorks movie for the first time in a while that is, a lot of it is live action. I thought this movie was going to be fully animated. No, this is live action, and I don't know how I feel about this going forward with DreamWorks. Yes, DreamWorks is pushing in a live action direction with How to Train Your Dragon, which, giving it a sequel, is very optimistic about this franchise's future, even though the first movie haven't even released yet. We don't know how the reception is going to be, or how well it's going to do at the box office. But here, I don't know if I'm going to be okay with DreamWorks focusing a lot more on live action movies. And I think this is kind of from the pressure of Universal. They see how much money the Disney remakes get. I mean, well, they used to, not excluding Snow White. But if it's a popular IP, it will bring in money. Lilo and Stitch is coming out next week, and almost all those theaters I know are going to be packed. It's gonna be one of the biggest movies of the summer. I don't think people are prepared for how Stitch is going to be taking over the world in like a week. But this is somewhere I don't want DreamWorks to go. I really hope they don't start pulling out DreamWorks' catalog and making them all live action. Please don't do that, please. But as for Gabby's Dollhouse, I'll just be leaving it alone. I won't be talking about it. It'll just be a movie on its own, and if it does well, we'll probably get more, and guess what? I still won't be talking about it. So that's where my stance on that movie is, because a lot of people wanted my opinion. That's my opinion. I just won't be talking about it. Not that it's bad, not that it's good. It's just clearly not my audience to critique, like, at all. And hopefully DreamWorks kind of leaves this live action thing away, because what's been going around is pretty bad. I'm not sure if you guys have been in the news about Shrek 5, but supposedly we got a synopsis leak, and it's about Shrek's daughter casting a spell that sends Shrek and Donkey to the real world. And I really hope that is not the case, because that will end up being the worst Shrek movie ever if that is the case. You don't bring a franchise back just to do that. And even though there's kind of hints of it relating to the real world in the first, like, not even teaser, just announcement, I really hope they don't do that. They better not. We already don't even see any voice actors from Puss in Boots coming into this movie, so that kind of raises my worries a little bit too. But I'm hoping for the best for that movie. And plus, we're going to get a movie next September that's from the director of Puss in Boots, so I'm not too worried there. But in terms of this summer, what's your favorite animated movie that will be coming out this summer? Will you be watching The Bad Guys too? Will you be even watching Smurfs? I'd be surprised if any of you guys said so. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.